Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of Coffee and Questions. What's today's topic? We went out and we got that Hercules table saw, and you saw that in the last video. And a friend of mine called me this morning and goes, hey, you know what? He goes, I want to go out and I want to get the miter box saw. He goes, ride out with me. Let me show it to you. And I told him, I've already seen it. I go, but yeah, I'll ride out with you. What the heck? Let's go out. Let's do it. So we went out there. We went into the store. I'm going to show it to you here in a minute. No long intros. And I'm going to show you different clips and different things. And then we're going to have a discussion about it. We took it. He did end up buying it, and we took it anyway. We took it back to his house. Same thing like we do with the table saw. I said, hey, look, I'd like to do a video on this. You know, can I play around with it a little bit? We cut up some 2x6s, 2x4s, and some other thicker beams. I think they were 4x6s or something like that. And, you know, anyway, we'll go over the discussion. I read through all of the complaints. There's a few complaints on there, and I have a couple of workarounds, so there's some good tips for you. But let's start off with what we saw inside of the store. I'll be right with you. Let's get right after it. Okay, well, here it is, and they're comparing it, price-wise, they're comparing it to DeWalt 350 versus 600. Here's a little bit better shot of it. Let me get in here a little bit closer. See what we got. Okay, right here. Let's take a look at this handle. Push the button, and you can set this. Now, they say some of them stick. This one slid nice and smoothly, so I would tell you while you're out there, I mean, try it. Okay, this is for angles. There's the dust bag, dust port comes important later in the conversation. So that's the dust bag and the dust port. All right, nice looking saw. Let's see. Okay, again, the price tag, $349. Now here's the side clamps. These are pretty good, actually. Let's see. Let's see. Maximum vertical capacity. Baseboards. Molding. 15 amp high output motor. Precision machined. Yeah, the surfaces are nice and smooth. Okay. Okay, everybody, let's take a look at some questions and answers. And what is the return policy like? Well, let's start off with it's got a full 1-year warranty as opposed to the 60, 90-day warranties on a lot of these, you know, compound saws that you buy. And all you have to do, if you're working out on a job site, something goes wrong in that year, bring it into Harbor Freight, hand it to them, they give you a new one, out you go, and you're back to work. So there's a big convenience factor there behind just the quick return and exchanging it rather than having to ship it in a box and pay for the shipping and go through all the hassle and the headache after that 60 or 90 days is expired. So 1-year full warranty, walk in, exchange it for a new one if you got any problems. I think that's a big plus right there. What do I think of the pricing? I think at $350, this is an outstanding deal. I mean, for this saw, in a nutshell, that's what I think. What do I think of the torque? Let me tell you, when we hooked this thing up and I pulled the trigger on this thing, you can feel it with a nice little jerk. I mean, it's got a lot of torque when you first trigger this thing on. You'll notice it. It does have a lot of torque. Okay, one of the issues everybody talks about on here is the dust port. Well, the dust port will take a 1.5-inch hose. There's no adapter with it to get you to 2-inch or to 4-inch, you know, to attach the hose without going and buying and figuring out how to create those adapters. So unfortunately, that's what you got to do. And then, you know, you can modify it so that it works for you. Somebody mentioned in one of the reviews that after they made the modification with, you know, piping, you have to create a little notch in there because the slide lock screw gets in the way. I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, to do that, one of the biggest complaints is the rubber part on that dust port. If you hook it up, when you do hook it up, it wants to collapse on you because of the vacuum. It's probably not that thick. It's not that rigid, so it just collapses. Now, I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to show you one guy's workaround and how he did this. I didn't do this. I copied this off online because I thought it was very clever. It's an easy fix. Back to the same point. Yeah, I understand you shouldn't have to do it, but it's a simple fix. Let me show you. Give me just a sec. What are the ratings like? All 4 and 5 star. So between the 4 and 5 star, you get about 100% on the ratings. So, well, I'll show you a picture of it right now. Hang on. Well, the orifice on that dust collection is made out of rubber. It's just thin. It collapses easy. But we just explained, I mean, how you can put something in there and kind of stiffen up the walls of it so it'll work. That's my best solution for you that I found in looking at the reviews and the comments. You're not quite understanding the comment or the question is you're not quite understanding how he did it. He took cardboard, he put it on the inside of that thin rubber port, and he used tape. And then he went ahead and he created, that conversion, over to whatever vacuum hose he was going to use. I go back to the pictures, take a closer look. See, it's a very simple fix. Is the LED cut shadow tracking system accurate? Yeah, I think it is. I like it over the laser, really. You pull that trigger and you start to come down. I like it a lot more than the laser. So that's another big plus why I like this so much. What do I think of the blade that comes with it? I would put it up there with a Diablo blade. It has a really good blade. It's not like a lot of these saws. Like even when I got one of the DeWalt miters that I have, they put the cheapest crap blade on them that you can think of. This actually comes with a really good blade. The accuracy on it is great. So no, I like the blade very much. Well, the other thing I like about it, which was true with my DeWalt, so I'm not discrediting the DeWalt because I do own it, or the Delta. You pull this thing right out of the box, man, this thing is just ready to plug in and go. There's no assembly, no fuss or nothing. You just plug it in and hit the trigger. You're ready. Does it have a depth stop to do lap joints? Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think it's nicely built. You got to go out and see it yourself, and pick it up. Pull the trigger, play around with it, have some fun with it. They didn't take any shortcuts or skimp on anything on this saw that I don't think. The dust port to me isn't a deal breaker. It's not an issue. Simple fix, cardboard, get some adapters. Depending on what your vacuum is that you're trying to hook up to it. So I don't consider those that big of a negative really for the price of this saw at $350. Yeah, it's hundreds less than any name brand of this quality. I can tell you that. It's a damn good saw. Oh, I thought that the controls are smooth. I thought all the adjustments were easy. Some people complained about the adjustment on it, but I think as you use it, it'll loosen up some too. This one that I actually demoed in the picture, it slid very easily. And I'm back to the same point. Use a little bit of Johnson's paste wax on these things when you get them home. I do that on all my tools. It helps glide. So that might help you a little bit, but I didn't find it rough at all, no. Well, I like the LED cutting guide. I think it's, it's a lot better compared to others. One of the downsides, I wish it had a soft start on it. It doesn't. It doesn't have one. Maybe if Harbor Freight watches the video, they'll consider, a modification in the future. I wish it did have a soft start, but no, it doesn't. Make about the soft start. Well, this thing, unless you're using the clamps or you're really holding on to this tight, this thing, when you pull that trigger, like I said, there's a lot of torque. You get a little bit of a jump. It can move your wood on you. So it's not that big of a deal to use the clamp or a clamp. And I'll show you pictures of that here in just a sec. There are some people that said, they kind of had to do a couple of tweaks to make the blade run perfectly straight up and down. I didn't have to do that. I took a square to it. The thing is perfect up and down out of the box. One of the people in the forum noticed that when he pulled the trigger on this, he had some blade wobble. I typed back. My advice would be to take the entire saw back, go here. They'll give you a new one. The one that we had, didn't have that problem, but you don't know, is it the blade or is it the arbor? So I wouldn't take the chance. I just take it back, go, here you go. I just want a new one. It's my advice. Yeah, I know we keep talking about that dust port. Well, with a friend of mine, what we did is we just took it out in the driveway. He's got a stand, a little makeshift one for right now. I'll drop a link below. I put my big Delta, which is big, and I put that on one of these DeWalt stands. I got it off Amazon, ships Prime, yada yada. I just felt it was a much better quality stand all the way around. I liked it because it's on rollers. It's got a brake on one of the wheels, all that stuff you can read about. I'll leave it in the link below. But we shoved it out in the driveway, and I didn't really care where the dust flew. Neither did he, really. And it's easy enough to clean up or, use your blowgun. But, we've already discussed a quick fix for it. But, we're not cutting a whole bunch of wood. So when we were out there, we cut 2x4s, 2x6s, and we were just goofing around. I mean, just testing it out. And I don't know, the mess wouldn't bother me that much, I guess, because I'm not doing a lot of production work. But anyway, like I said, we've already discussed the dust sport issue. Well, what we did in terms of cutting at angles, we put it at a 45 and I put it at a 90. There weren't any adjustments or tweaking needed. It cut perfect 45s and 90s. Yeah, I'm impressed with the finish on it too. I like the finish work that was done on it. I guess overall time will tell in using this, but I mean, it's a great saw. It really is. What's the friend of mine going to do? Well, for right now, he just put a couple of quick bolts. It's got bolt holes in the base of it. You can bolt this down to a workbench. He's going to go ahead and buy the stand that I'm suggesting that's made by DeWalt, and then he's going to bolt it down to the top of that. He came over, he looked at mine, he liked the stand, and I bolted my, my big Delta right down to the top on it. What about buying the Hercules stand? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with a Hercules stand, I guess. I mean, it's just your preference on what you like and what you think is going to work better for you in your shop. What do I think about the complaints about parts availability? I would call Harbor Freight. I'll try to put the phone number right now on the screen, and I would discuss parts availability if that's what you're worried about. I can't comment on that. I really can't. I really don't know about the parts availability, but there is customer service available. Answer those questions before you make the purchase. I had one comment on here. They gave it, a little bit of a lesser rating because it doesn't have any wing platforms that'll pull out on the side for cutting longer lumber. Get that DeWalt table that I'm leaving a link below. It's got wing pullouts on it, and it's a hell of a nice stand for the price. So I wouldn't let that stop me from buying the saw. It'd be nice if they would have incorporated them on the saw. Yes, I agree with you, but they didn't, and it might have costed more, whereas you're going to probably want to stand for it anyway. If not, I'm sure there's benchtop models available that have wings, or you can make your own. But I'll leave you a picture of somebody that actually, made wings on their desk, or their workbench. My stuff has to be mobile, so I went with, like I said, the Delta stand. I think it's a nice quality stand. I've bought 2 of them now. One for the table saw that I have, and one for the big chop saw. Yeah, here we go. Proverbial question. Where is it made? It's made in Taiwan. Who cares? I mean, DeWalt's made in China. Makita's there, and they make good quality tools. I mean, this is a good quality product. I mean, I don't want to beat the drum and, where it's made. Let's move on. One of the readers said you can wait for the coupon pricing to come out, and he actually picked it up right at $300. Okay. That's a good deal. You can wait for coupons to come out and see if you can get a good price break. What would I buy? I said, I've already showed you my DeWalt, and I've showed you my big Delta. I don't need another one. Had I been access to this way in the past, I probably would have bought this Hercules over that smaller DeWalt one, you saw on the ground floor of my shop. I don't know. I think it's a beast of a machine. You're getting quality, value, and performance all in a box. The dust port, there's a workaround for it. I would definitely buy this if I had to do it over again and I didn't have one. There was one complaint on the prongs on the cord itself. They felt were a little flimsy. I didn't notice that on the one that we got. Took it out of the box. They seem stiff enough. I mean, I can bend them with my fingers like you could any other prong on an outlet, on an extension cord. But I don't know. I didn't notice that problem. What's my opinion on this versus the Chicago electric saw? The Chicago electric miter? Hell no. I would go for this Hercules 10 out of 10 times and forget that Chicago electric. It is much better made all the way around. I mean, the machinery and everything on this is great. You check it out for yourself. When you go out to the store, go look at the one from Chicago Electric. I don't want you to believe me. Then go over and look at this Hercules one. You tell me. I'd rather put a little bit more money with the money that I had and buy the Hercules. And you're going to have the same opinion once you're out there touching them and playing with them. Well, yeah, the unit has the bolt holes, in the base for extension supports. It just doesn't come with it. But like I said, you can make your own, buy them, or you can buy a cart, like I'm going to leave you the link below, that has the wings on it already. And then you just bolt the machine down, to the top of the little wood bench that they give you with the DeWalt. They give you actually a wood platform with it. The hold down clamps, they don't come close enough to cut small objects. Okay, well, you're right. They don't slide over like that. But I'm sure you can figure out another way in using clamps. To clamp something. I would never put my hand super close to a blade to cut something small anyway. What do I think of the slide mechanism when you're changing the angle? I think it moves smoothly. The one that we have moves real nicely. Like I said, a little bit of Johnson's paste wax if you're having an issue, or give it a little bit of time to break in a little bit, and it should slide very smooth for you too. What about the double bevel settings? I don't know. I think it's a great addition to it, really. Does it have a blade brake? No. I wish it did, but no, it doesn't. How does the light mechanism work on it? Well, Hercules has a light that casts a shadow onto the blade that shows you exactly where that blade's coming down at on the piece of wood, from what I saw when we were demoing it. That's why I say I like this a lot better than a laser, much better. What about storage if you are like an independent contractor working on a job site and you have to put it into a toolbox? I think your question is a little vague, but I think you're wondering about the portability. All you have to do is take the top part of this and tilt it to 60 degrees, and then take the locking mechanism down here where it says Hercules and move it all the way over to the right. You can just take it by the handle, and it collapses down, a fair amount. I don't see any other questions. I hope you folks like the review and the discussion. Some of these points weren't mine, some of them are, and some of them are my response to some of the things that you can do with the saw in order to make it a little bit better. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you like the tool review. I hope you click subscribe. I hope you hit the notification bell. Drop me a comment if you have a different experience with the saw, but all the way around, value, price, durability, and this thing does have power. I would buy it, definitely. All right, folks, thank you. Have a great weekend or a great day, whichever comes first. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.